Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
How's everything going?
Good.
Okay.
Good. All right. Let's just jump right into it. So, my name is Ebony. I'm with EXIT Realty All Stars, GP Realty team, and I have the pleasure of interviewing my broker, Jose
How
E
you,
Perez.
how you
So,
doing?
yeah. Getting right in there. Tell our listeners a little bit about you, your business, what you do.
Well, I'm broker owner of EXIT Realty. We got offices in Braintree and Brockton. Been doing this going on 16 years. Definitely, yeah, a long time. Multi-language, and we definitely serve pretty much all over Massachusetts. I mean, I always say 20 miles from Randolph or Braintree, you can say, but we go everywhere. I mean, if we need to go to Worcester, we go to Worcester. We need to go to Lawrence, we go to Lawrence. We go anywhere. You know, you're selling or
We're
buying
gonna
a
serve
house.
everybody.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah, and right now with COVID-19 kind of like ravaging through and affecting pretty much every area of life. First off, how is it affecting you personally, and what are like the changes that we've had to do to your business to actually continue serving clients?
Well, luckily for us, I mean, we've had a great first quarter. Um, in April, second quarter, April looks very steady. So when it comes to the actual effects of it, I think we're going to see that more come May. A little bit less transactions overall. Um, but I've been pretty surprised that the last few weeks there's been a lot of phone calls coming in, people still looking to buy, which I view that as a positive. Um, a little bit more hesitation, I think, on the seller side. People want to put houses on the market, but I mean, overall, the demand from buyers is still there. Even with everything you hear out there, I mean, there's plenty of buyers still interested in purchasing a home,
No,
which that's a
definitely
good thing.
agree because I mean, one of the things I know, like we went into this with kind of like a shortage in inventory
Hmm.
and like super high demand, and even myself, I never noticed like a drop in terms of people requesting to potentially go look at homes or trying to make offers, something. And I was even looking at numbers. Doesn't seem to be that much of a drop yet in
No.
terms of closings so far. Well, I was really looking at the Brockton area, I should say. Um,
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. I mean, luckily for our office, from what the agents have told me and from personal closings that I've had, everything that I've had in the books have closed. Um, it's been a little bit of a headache getting to the closing table, but the attorneys that we have done a great job getting the deals done and closed. Um, a little different than your traditional closing. A lot of the times, I mean, the buyers and the sellers are going to the closing office by themselves, um, but deals are getting done,
yeah,
and I'm thankful for that.
and I think we're definitely trying to become the best virtual agents possible.
No, it's definitely something that I feel like probably from now until the end of the year, doing things virtually, it's definitely something that I definitely want to talk to you off the record about. Maybe doing more for our clients because I definitely think it could be beneficial for us and for them
Oh,
to
definitely.
view real estate and to make things a little bit more easier
Mhm.
um, for our clients going forward.
And so which means like homes are still selling. Um, are you seeing that many competition still, like bidding wars or anything like that out there?
I always look at single family houses, first time home buyers. If it's priced right, I still feel like you're seeing a little bit of, multiple offers. Not as much as you were seeing before, but there's definitely a lot of interest.
Mm-hmm.
If you're pricing things right, I feel that the seller is, if I get this price, I'm signing off. I'm not going to get greedy, type of thing. So I seen a lot of movement, and, and I feel like right now the average price in Brockton, if you're right around that that 315, 320 range, things are moving fairly quickly.
And I think like right now, sorry to cut you off. Right now,
No
the
problem.
median price in Brockton is about 327.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, if you're in that range, I mean, I feel like you're gonna get a lot of buyers, and properties are not gonna be on the market that long. Especially if they're in decent condition, they're definitely moving. If you're up in the 400 plus on a single family, I feel like there you might be, have a little bit more negotiating power behind you. If you're in the Brockton area, in Randolph, if you're like in the 500s, it might be a little bit slightly difficult to move that property the first week. Um, there might be a little bit less buyers, but overall, I think it's a healthy market. I mean, definitely things are moving, and the days on the market, it hasn't really gone up that much, at least yet. But remember, we're only a month into this, so the first month, very, very positive.
Yeah. And exactly, kind of like to support what you said, because I was kind of like going over the numbers again this morning.
Hmm.
And, I compared like that exact month, so March to right now, April of last year, and the average day on the market for single family in Brockton was about 60 days, whereas right now for this month, um, March to April, it's
Hmm.
in 53 days. So
Yeah,
not really that much change. Um,
yeah,
you know, in fact, seems to be going down.
yeah. I mean, exactly. Uh, and hopefully that's a good sign that if we ever get out of this slowly over the next couple of months, that the third, fourth quarter could be somewhat normal, um, meaning normal transactions and normal deals that normally would happen in the fall and into the winter. The market will be back to where it was, and I'm just praying that it does. You know?
Yeah. Now, have you noticed any, with the COVID starting to affect like prices yet, or it's not getting?
No, but what I've noticed is that buyers out there, they think, oh, because of what's going on, I'm going to get a bargain. I'm going to hit a home run. I'm going to get 30% off, even though a house been on the market 3 days. No, I mean, that's not going to happen for a while. They might think that, and some of them, they might have reason to think that they could get a good deal. Um, but educating the client on the mindset of the market is definitely going to help us realtors and them as buyers. Um, the good thing now, you have less people going out looking at properties. So instead of having 10, 15 people look at a house, you might get 6 or 7. But those 6 or 7 are still qualified, approved, ready to go. Um, so a low ball offers, it's just going to get rejected.
Yeah, and I think like kind of like one of the changes that we're going to start noticing, as this progress, is that not necessarily a huge amount of days on the market means that the property is either not priced right or not, attractive enough to buyers. Um,
Exactly.
that's one kind of like one aspect of things that will have to change
Yeah.
um, as we move forward.
Yeah. I agree.
And with many stating that we're likely heading towards a recession, although we don't know yet, is it fair to say that if this prolonged into summer, that we'll definitely see kind of like prices take a bit back?
And this is just my personal opinion. I mean, there's a lot of market data. There's a lot of experts out there that know more about this than me. But just because we're on a quote unquote recession, that doesn't really mean that the market is going to tank. The difference between 2020, what's going on now, and what happened back in '08. In '08, it was more financial. The financial industry kind of blew up. Banks were going out of business. The bubble burst. What happened the last 30, 45 days is more of a medical issue that came upon us out of the blue. Banks are still open, even though a lot of them are taking precautions. Lending's still going on. It is just that for the time being, things are very, very slow as an economy. So chances are, and I'm hoping this doesn't happen, if this prolongs till the end of the year, then by this time next year, you're probably going to see price drop, meaning maybe 5, 6, 7%. But if things pick up again third or fourth quarter, it's going to be like nothing really happened.
Yeah, it's
Prices
probably going to
wise.
be like, just a slow down and then kind of like have everything pick up
Exactly. Exactly. So I'm looking at it right now as a speed bump.
again.
But price dropping like they did back in 08, 09, and 2010, it takes a while for you to see that type of um, down, trending downwards. It'll probably be flat by the end of the year when it comes to prices. I mean, we probably won't have price increases,
Yeah.
but that could be a good thing. Because like right now, like what we were talking about before with the appraisals, appraisals right now, they're becoming more strict. They're looking at things a lot more closely. And that's definitely something that's a way of them protecting, our industry and also the banks, not overpricing things and making sure that the numbers look good on both sides, the seller and also the buyer's end.
And as we're heading towards the end, any advice that you'd like to share with buyers or sellers?
Well, when it comes to sellers, I always say that springtime tends to be the best time to sell. And if you got a property that you're thinking about putting it on the market, there are ways that we can still show your property and market your property to the world, virtually doing 3D tours, um, getting the word out there. So if you're on the sidelines right now, I definitely would say, you know what, reach out to one of us and let's talk about putting your house on the market, because you'll be surprised the amount of buyers that are still out there.
Yes.
Um, and right now, one good thing that you got to think about is that the banks right now are becoming a little bit more strict. Becoming more strict means that the buyer that's out there looking is more qualified than a buyer that might have been looking 3, 4 months ago. So there's a good chance that if something's put on paper, the only person that can mess it up is really the appraiser. So the demand's still out there. And for the buyers, you're not going to get a bargain, but remember, it's better to own real estate than to rent.
Yeah,
So, so even,
definitely this time it's the value of home ownership.
yeah, and one thing I want to say to the buyers is that if you're renting right now, if you're buying a house that's 350,000, roughly, say the market goes on 2 to 3%, at the end of the year, you'll still be ahead, because at least that house is yours, but the money you paid the landlord went to waste. And that is more than 2 to 3% dip on a $350,000 house. So buying is always the best thing. So think about that and reach out to us if you have any questions.
All right. Thank you so much for being on the call with me today. So we're definitely available to help, and feel free to reach out if you have any questions.
Awesome. Thanks for
Uh,
having me, man.
all right.
Take
Thank you.
care.